Chapter 11 Strength Improvement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boss, I screwed up big time. I'm so sorry I hurt you. The skeletal leader blurted, rushing to Guan Li. It's nothing, man. Not your fault. Guan Li waved him off, then quickly helped the other skeleton warriors back on their feet. Even though they'd managed to take down the mantis, his troops were in rough shape. A bunch of his skeleton warriors were missing limbs, and 4 had been completely destroyed. Unlike regular skeletons, these warriors take about 7 hours to resurrect. Alright, take 5. Guan Li ordered. The skeleton warriors were too beat up to keep fighting. He figured he'd use the downtime to let them recover. He walked over to the dead mantis and picked up the dark green card it dropped, then sliced open the monster's carcass with his tang sword. The human-faced praying mantis's shell wasn't nearly as tough now that it was dead, so it cut open easy. Shik star, green blood gushed out, and a nasty stench hit him like a wall. Guan Li waved his hand to clear the air. He rummaged around inside the corpse and finally pulled out a dark green crystal. It glowed softly, outshining any diamond he'd ever seen. Sweet! Guan Li's eyes lit up, feeling the raw power radiating from the crystal. He hadn't been sure if these monsters even had crystal cores. 2-star crystal core, dark green card, 1000 points, skill upgrade, mimic carapace. Those were his spoils. Guan Li held the 2-star crystal core and started absorbing its energy. A surge of power coursed through him, every cell in his body greedily soaking it up. A few minutes later, the pure energy faded away. Whoa! Guan Li grabbed his Tang Dao and did a few practice swings. The blade felt weightless this time. He figured he'd probably leveled up to mid-tier 2-star. Next, he grabbed the dark green card and crushed it. Crack star. Acquired, Qingfeng Saber X1. Name, Qingfeng Saber. Type, weapon, grade, 2-star. Talent, edge. Skills, slashing, cleaving. Description, a blade crafted from the forelimb of a human-faced praying mantis. Its thin, sharp edge can slice through steel like butter, and the flickering blue light holds a mysterious power. Guan Li grinned at the Qingfeng Saber's description. Talk about good timing. He'd needed a good weapon. He thought about it for a second, and a long knife appeared in his hand. The handle was about 8 inches long, the blade was around 3 feet, and the whole thing shimmered with blue and silver. The handle was made of some kind of carapace material, carved with a ferocious praying mantis. The blade flashed with a cold light, like the mantis was waving its forelimbs. Nice blade. Guan Li said, if this had been the old world, craftsmanship like this would have made it a museum piece. He slashed a few times, activating the slashes, and a blade of pure energy shot out and slammed into the mantis's corpse. Splatter star, flesh and blood went everywhere. Yes! Guan Li shouted, wanting to do it again, but he couldn't summon up any more energy. Slashing/cleaving, cooldown time 3 minutes. The system helpfully informed him. Guan Li nodded, getting it. He tried it out, testing both slashes. He could feel the power in the blade. He disappeared in a blur. Swish star. A clean slice appeared on the wall. The range of both moves was about 10 feet, so, a 3-minute cooldown on both skills. Not bad. He stashed the steel tang knife back in his inventory. Weapons were valuable currency in the apocalypse. That thing could probably get him a lot of stuff. Having dealt with the crystal core and the card, Guan Li turned to the next piece of loot. A skill upgrade. Since he'd ranked up the Legion, the skills he could get had gotten better. His bone armor was now advanced bone armor, so that was out. Gale technique. That was the skill that saved his life back there. If it wasn't for the Gale art, he would have been done for. System. Upgrade the Gale technique. Decision made. Guan Li was going to do it. Ding. Gale Wind technique upgraded to Swift Shadow technique. Swift Shadow technique imbues the user with the power of Swift Shadow. Guan Li was confused. What was the Swift Shadow power? He decided to try it out and feel it for himself. Activating the Swift Shadow technique, he immediately felt lighter. 1 step, and he was 20 feet away. He was moving twice as fast. Whoa! Guan Li said in surprise. About 4 minutes later, the lightness wore off. It was safe to say Swift Shadow was a big improvement. More speed, longer duration, just a bit more energy cost. Guan Li was stoked. He had a feeling Swift Shadow could get even better. that just left one last thing from the mantis, the mimic carapace. Mimic carapace, attached to skin to mimic the surrounding environment for camouflage. Note, single-use consumable item. Guan Li looked at the palm-sized carapace in his hand and added it to his inventory. Boss, the troops are ready to roll. The skeletal leader announced from behind him. The skeleton warriors stood in formation. Alright, split into pairs, clear out the zombies on the floors. Guan Li ordered. 11 skeletons plus the leader made 4 teams. Note, the leader is not counted as part of the squad. Boss, let me stick with you. The leader said. Nope. Split up. Go. Guan Li said. Please be careful, boss. I'd be devastated if anything happened to you. The leader said. Don't worry. If I was that weak, how could I lead you all? Guan Li replied. Right. Got it, the leader replied. Move out. You guys take the first floor. I'll hit the 5th floor. Understood. The skeletons replied, and left. Guan Li headed up the stairs. He took out any stray zombies he found along the way. He told himself he was doing this to keep in shape. Really, he was trying to avoid getting his head cut off. No matter how strong your army is, mistakes happen. It would be embarrassing to die that way. Chapter 12 Survivor, Modified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When we got to the 5th floor, there were way fewer zombies. Makes sense, right? High floor, unless they mutated right here. It's tough for the zombies downstairs to climb all the way up. Still, there were plenty of zombie corpses scattered around. Fewer zombies didn't mean no zombies, though. Guan Li gripped his qingfeng knife, ready to clear out the left side first. This main teaching building was huge, and every floor had tons of classrooms, all totally trashed. Squeak star, walking down the hall. Guan Li saw several zombie corpses on the ground. Their heads were smashed. Brains splattered everywhere. He got it instantly. Other survivors were out here doing the same thing. In the apocalypse, there are plenty of scaredy cats, but there are also those with guts. Freshly infected zombies are usually pretty weak. A normal person can easily take them down. Of course, you gotta get over the fear first. Guan Li wasn't too surprised. Didn't matter how they killed zombies, as long as they didn't mess with him. Stepping over the corpses, Guan Li came to a classroom. Low zombie moans drifted out. Guan Li didn't hesitate. He kicked the door open. Inside, a dozen or so zombies were standing around, dazed. As soon as Guan Li showed up, they all snapped to attention. Every zombie head turned, staring at Guan Li in the doorway. They looked at him like a pervert looks at a supermodel, but Guan Li was a beauty who packed heat. Roar! The zombies swarmed him. They waved their nasty black claws, trying to tear him apart. Alright then, let's do this. Guan Li grinned, and swung the qingfeng knife. *1 zombie went down, its head flying, but seeing their buddy die didn't scare them. Guan Li charged into the classroom, swinging the qingfeng knife. Compared to a tang dao, the qingfeng was sharper. Cutting through the zombies felt like cutting through butter. Before long, all the zombies in the classroom were on the floor. Guan Li smashed their heads and quickly looted the place. A dozen zombies, but only 3 one-star crystal nuclei. He pocketed the crystal nuclei, left the classroom, and kept on clearing. Half an hour later, in a clean classroom, Guan Li was chowing down on half a roast pig, looking happy. Kill some zombies, eat some good food. Life was looking up. Next to him was a burlap sack on the table. Inside, crystal nuclei. After half an hour of work, Guan Li had snagged a total of 43 one-star crystal nuclei. As for 2-star ones, maybe the zombies were too weak. No 2 stars to be found. He also got a bunch of cards, but mostly food cards, bottled water, stuff like that. He ate his roast pig and hummed a tune from back home. Someone's coming. Guan Li stuffed the last of the roast pig in his mouth, wiped his face on his clothes. You sure this kid wasn't lying? Someone eating roast pig on the 5th floor? No way. Out in the hall, a few student survivors were walking cautiously. They looked around, on edge, afraid of getting jumped by zombies. Bro, you. I swear, I'm not lying. When I was scavenging earlier, I saw a guy in classroom 12 with a whole pig. But he had a knife, and I was alone, so I didn't want to risk it, a skinny guy with glasses spoke up, nervously. All right. 4 eyes. If you're right, I'll give you a pork knuckle later, Wang Yu patted 4 eyes on the shoulder. Sweet. Thanks, bro you, 4 eyes face lit up. After the world ended, the surviving students all holed up on the top floor. There were 2 huge auditoriums that could hold thousands of people. Now, the survivors up there were split into 2 groups. One chose to stay put and wait for the National Guard, the other chose to hunt zombies and scavenge for supplies. Those who hunted zombies knew what was up. This was the apocalypse. The National Guard was probably fighting for its life, so they were on their own. Guan Yu was one of those people. He got lucky and scored an alloy crossbow in the initial lottery. Using that crossbow, he took down a few zombies. He got a crystal nucleus from one of them. After absorbing it, Guan Yu felt like a new man. He got a taste for power, so he decided to build a team and take action. He wasn't gonna sit around doing nothing. He figured the apocalypse was his big break. Not long ago, while they were scavenging, 4 eyes came to him with some killer news. There was a lone student in classroom 12, and he had a ton of supplies. An idea popped into Wang Yu's head. Hey, it's the end of the world, right? Stealing is basically legal now. He figured he couldn't lose. He'd absorbed a crystal nucleus, so he was way stronger. Plus, he had the crossbow and 5 guys backing him up, 6 against 1. If they couldn't win that, they deserved to get zombified. Bro you. It's right ahead. 4 eyes pointed excitedly at classroom 12. All right. Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Wang Yu couldn't wait. He charged into the classroom. As soon as he got inside, he knew 4 eyes was telling the truth. There was a student sitting there with pig bones at his feet. Next to him was a huge backpack, looked heavy as hell. Nice. Wang Yu couldn't help himself. Nice? Nice what? Guan Li was wondering what was up with this idiot. Ha! Kid! You're loaded. Wang Yu narrowed his eyes, spotting the crystal nuclei in the bag. The damn bag was so full it was ridiculous. Holy crap! That's a lot of crystal nuclei, he thought to himself. Jackpot. The other guys saw the crystal nuclei, too. They remembered how tough Wang Yu was after absorbing a crystal nucleus. With that many crystal nuclei, even if Wang Yu gave them scraps, they'd be set. Alright, kid. Listen up. All your stuff. Bro Yu's taking it. I'm giving you 2 choices. Either hand over everything, join Bro Yu's crew, and we'll take care of you. Or I'll kill you. And then take your stuff. Wang Yu didn't mince words. Join you? Why would I do that? Guan Li asked. Why? Because I'm strong. If you don't want to die, you'll listen. Wang Yu was getting pissed. Did this guy have any idea who he was messing with? He dramatically pulled out the alloy crossbow and loaded a bolt. How's that? Scared now? Wang Yu waved the crossbow at Guan Li. Seriously? You're gonna pull that tough guy act with a crossbow? Guan Li was speechless. Huh, Wang Yu didn't catch that. Hey, genius. I've got a gun. In Guan Li's hand, a desert eagle appeared, aimed right at Wang Yu. Chapter 13. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Let's roll. The crossbow, shaking in Wang Yu's grip, clattered to the ground. For someone from our time, a gun is still a pretty good deterrent. It wasn't just Wang Yu. His crew of college buddies were freaked out too. They were just regular students, and they totally folded at the sight of a real weapon. This is a stick-up. Guan Li grinned, flashing a friendly smile. Dude, please don't shoot. Wang Yu's swagger vanished instantly. I said, this is a robbery. Hand over your stuff. Guan Li gestured impatiently. Yeah, sure. Just put the gun down first. Wouldn't want an accident. Everyone nodded frantically, tossing their backpacks onto the ground. Accident? Like it's that easy to go off. But the second Guan Li lowered the gun, bang, it went off. Wang Yu, everyone else. Ahem. Minor mishap. Guan Li coughed to break the tension. When Shane grabbed the stuff in the backpacks, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Guan Li checked them out, and besides Wang Yu, they all seemed pretty ordinary. They didn't pose any real threat. He could take them out without breaking a sweat, but there was no need. They were just students, maybe a little misguided, but not exactly hardened criminals. Guan Li figured he'd give them a break. Ding! Tradable item detected. The system chimed in. Guan Li glanced at the crossbow on the ground. Alloy crossbow, trade value, 10 points, he was instantly intrigued. Wang Yu, right? Toss me the crossbow. No funny business. No way. My name's Wang Yu. Yes sir. Wang Yu practically threw the crossbow to Guan Li. You want to trade the crossbow? Trade. Guan Li nodded, and the crossbow vanished from his hand. Ding. Trade successful. Points plus 10. Guan Li's disappearing act totally blew Wang Yu and his crew away. Right then and there, they decided they didn't want any trouble with this guy. You guys game for killing zombies? Guan Li looked at them, an idea forming. Yeah. All 6 nodded. They had the guts to leave the relative safety of the top floor to scavenge for supplies. They had some courage, at least. Even 4 eyes had taken down a zombie or 2. You want this stuff back? Guan Li dangled the sack in front of them. Hell yeah. Their eyes lit up, and they nodded like bobbleheads. Guan Li pulled out 6 one-star crystal cores and tossed them to them. Huh? They were all confused, wondering what he was up to. Dude, what do you want us to do? Wang Yu asked. He knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. Clear out the zombies in this building for me. That's it? Yep. That's it. Guan Li confirmed. The task only said to clear the building, not who had to do the clearing. Guan Li figured it was a win-win to have them do it for 6 crystal cores. The Legion card was his priority, after all. Okay, you got it. They started absorbing the cores, which meant they were agreeing to the deal. After a few minutes, the 5 who hadn't awakened yet woke up. Wang Yu, since he was already awakened, just felt a slight boost in power. Thanks, man. We owe you big time, they all said excitedly. Don't get all mushy. If you really want to thank me, kill more zombies. Clear out the 6th floor. Don't go below the 5th. Guan Li dropped those instructions and walked out of the classroom. The 6 scrambled to catch up, only to find that he'd vanished. Master. Definitely a master, star. Wang Yu decided right then. He was grateful he hadn't really tried anything stupid back there. Guan Li made his way to the 7th floor, Qingfeng blade in hand, and started taking out the straggler zombies. There weren't many on this floor, and he cleared them out quickly. Above was the top floor of the main building, no extra classrooms up there, just 2 performance halls and some storage rooms. Guan Li lost interest instantly. As he turned to leave, screams erupted from one of the performance halls. Ah! Zombie! Someone's turning. What's happening? Everyone, stay calm. Help! Help! A zombie bit my leg. I don't want to die. Guan Li stopped and stared at the hull. Just what I needed. More trouble. He only had to clear the lower floors to complete the task. Of course, something had to go wrong. Why were zombies showing up now? Someone must have been bitten and tried to hide it in the crowd. There's always gonna be selfish jerks like that. Guan Li kicked open the door and charged into the hall. It was a wide open space, packed with hundreds of students. Guan Li spotted the newly turned zombie instantly. It was near the corner, and had already killed over a dozen students. Those students turned fast, attacking everyone around them. In just a few seconds, dozens more were turning into zombies. Everyone scrambled toward the other performance hall next door. It was probably safer there, for now. Hey! You jerk, you pushed me. Bro, help me out. Don't leave me. Teacher. How could you? The crowd was a mess. Survival instincts kicked in, and they pushed anyone out of the way. Guan Li shook his head. The worst of humanity was on full display. He gripped his blade and charged toward the first zombie. Everyone else was running out, but Guan Li was heading in. He could handle a dozen or so zombies, no problem. If it got over 100, Guan Li would be out of there faster than you could say brains. If he could help, he would, but if things got dicey, his own safety came first. Other people dying? Not his problem. */***, using the swift shadow technique, a zombie bit into a student, and then its head went flying. Help me, the student pleaded, but Guan Li's only reply was a quick slice. His pupils had already turned. Using swift shadow technique, Guan Li's speed increased drastically. The Qingfeng blade harvested zombie heads left and right. These new zombies weren't strong. Guan Li could handle them without breaking a sweat. Who is that? He's amazing. Oh my god. He's actually fighting them. So hot. He's the man of my dreams. The fleeing teachers and students stopped. They turned and looked back. A blood-soaked young man was hacking away at the zombies. Those terrifying monsters were being treated like garbage. Wait, that's Guan Li. He's in our class. A girl screamed excitedly. You're right. I remember him. He totally confessed his feelings to me. Why didn't I say yes? A girl in designer clothes said angrily. She looked at Guan Li with eyes full of admiration. The boys were green with envy. They wished they were the ones taking down the zombies. Chapter 14 Moral Kidnapping. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the performance hall, everyone held their breath, eyes glued to Guan Li. When the last zombie dropped, cheers exploded across the field. Awesome. We're safe. Guan Li just ignored them and started searching the area. Everyone looked puzzled. What's he doing? Looks like he's looking for something. Suddenly, everyone remembered that announcement before the world went to hell. * Kill monsters, get rewards, star. They hadn't believed it at first, but after seeing Guan Li's strength, they were believers. Guan Li. I'll give you a hand. A kid stepped forward. Stay back. Don't move. Guan Li shot him a cold glance. He could practically read the guy's mind. Trying to sneak something, huh? Guan Li. We've been classmates for 2 years. Cut me some slack. The kid looked pissed. He was Zhao Hai, son of the Xinghai group, and he wasn't used to being treated like this. Sorry, not really acquainted. Guan Li recognized him vaguely. Zhao Hai, young master of some big company. Other than that, they had nothing in common. Truth was, Guan Li had always been a loner. He barely talked to anyone in class, not even his roommates. The only one he'd ever really connected with was this girl, Lin Nana. Too bad she was a gold digger who'd shot him down when he confessed. That's when he'd retreated even further into his games. Fine. Just because you got some skills doesn't mean you can act like a hotshot. My dad's sending someone to rescue me any minute now. Don't come begging me to take you with us. Zhao Hai, embarrassed, tried to regain some dignity with his words. Dude, how old is your dad? Guan Li scoffed and went back to searching. Seriously. 80% of the population had turned into zombies. What could some CEO do about that? Money was worthless now, good for nothing but wiping your butt. All right. You asked for it. Just you wait. Zhao Hai spat out the threat and stomped back to the group. He wasn't about to confront Guan Li directly. Not with that blood-soaked knife in his hand. One wrong move, and Guan Li might just lose it and slice him. Seeing Zhao Hai get shut down, everyone else gave up on offering to help. Wow, Guan Li's really changed. He's so cold now. Yeah. We're classmates. Shouldn't we be helping each other? Typical. Give a guy some power, and he changes. Totally. Selfish jerk. A chorus of murmurs rippled through the crowd, conveniently forgetting who had just saved their asses. Guan Li tuned them out, focused on the task at hand. Dozens of zombies yielded 13 one-star crystal cores and 3 white cards. Food card X2. Advanced card X1. He pocketed his loot and started walking toward the crowd. Guan Li? A bald guy with a gut waddled out from the crowd. Guan Li recognized him as the vice principal, always giving those boring lectures. Yeah. Guan Li looked at him, waiting. Oh, right, I'm Qin Xiong. You know me. A flicker of annoyance crossed Qin Xiong's face, but he quickly masked it. A good leader controlled his emotions. Right, Vice Principal Chen, got it. Guan Li nodded with a smile. Guan Li, you're showing amazing talent at such a young age. A true hero in the making, Chen Xiong gushed, a seasoned pro at handling students after decades in education. Flattery and promises of reward were his go-to strategy for managing headstrong youth like Guan Li. Vice Principal Chen's looking pretty fit himself. Saw you booking it earlier, Guan Li kept smiling. Chen Xiong had been hauling ass faster than half the students. Chen Xiong was caught off guard. This wasn't going according to plan. Guan Li, you have quite the sense of humor. As Vice Principal of Z University, I want to thank you personally. You stepped up and saved us all in a dangerous situation. I'll be in touch with the higher-ups to get you a medal as soon as things calm down. Chen Xiong puffed out his chest and gave a mock salute. Most kids would be thrilled to hear that. A medal from the school was a big deal, would look great on a resume, but Guan Li just looked bored. Things calmed down. Not likely. These guys were still lost in their little fantasies. Guan Li, as a proud student of Z University, you have a duty to protect everyone. Chen Xiong seized his opportunity, trying to pile on the pressure. Appeal to his sense of responsibility, especially with all those female students watching. What teenage boy could resist? Sorry, not interested. Vice Principal Chen, if you'll excuse me. Guan Li's words left Chen Xiong speechless. What was going on here? Hadn't he made himself clear enough? Ahem, Guan Li, maybe I wasn't explicit enough. Chen Xiong started to say, but Guan Li cut him off. Vice Principal Chen, please move. Guan Li's tone was suddenly icy, sending shivers down your spine. The guy clearly thought he was an idiot. Moral blackmail? Please. You can't blackmail someone who has no morals. Under that intense gaze, Chen Xiong couldn't help but take a few steps back. Guan Li brushed past him and headed toward the performance hall. Guan Li. Remember me? Lin Nana darted out of the crowd. Nope. Guan Li shook his head and kept walking. You. Lin Nana was stunned, not expecting such a blunt rejection. Jerk. Asshole. Lin Nana burst into tears and ran back to her friends, who comforted her. Nana, don't cry. He's not worth it. Yeah. So what if he killed a few zombies? Too cool to look at us lonely girls. I hate guys like that. So full of themselves. Hearing that, Guan Li stopped. Here's a heads up. The real monsters are coming. Not just your run-of-the-mill zombies wandering around. If you don't want to die, you better get stronger fast. Oh, and by the way, there's no food or water in the performance hall. Guan Li dropped those words and walked away without looking back. Inside the hall, everyone looked at each other, their faces a mix of confusion and dread. Guan Li was right, no food, no water, they didn't feel it yet, but what was next? Who knew when rescue would arrive? Staying here wasn't an option. Chapter 15 Trading Materials. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey teach, Guan Li's got a point. Seriously, food's the big issue here. A soft-spoken kid with wire-rimmed glasses chimed in. This was Wang Wenli, the student body president. He was a straight-A student, breezing through foreign language exams and piano certifications from all over the world. Basically, he was every teacher's dream and every parent's go-to example of a good kid. Yeah, we gotta figure this out, teach. The zombie attack had everyone on edge, and now the food situation was just piling on the stress. Seeing the students freaking out, Chen Xiong felt a surge of annoyance. He thought he could easily manipulate Guan Li, turn him into a useful pawn, but now that plan was shot. Having seen those zombies up close, he was scared stiff. He'd worked too damn hard to get where he was. He wasn't about to kick the bucket before he got to enjoy life. Alright, everyone, we need to have faith in our country. In a crisis like this, the city's gonna send help, no doubt. So, chill out, people. No need to panic. Even though Chen Xiong was losing it, he had to keep up appearances. He was the top dog here, after all. the teachers and most of the students looked to him for guidance. Exactly. Vice President Chen's right. We gotta trust the government, trust the city's defense. This all happened out of nowhere, so they're still catching up. Just gotta ride it out, and they'll be here before we know it, a pretty teacher added, her gentle voice helping to calm everyone's nerves. That's right, students, let's not lose our heads. Vice President Chen and Ms. Lin Shunai are spot on. The city's gonna come to the rescue. Several other teachers jumped in, trying to keep everyone from falling apart. Okay, let's get organized. There's gotta be a ton of supplies in this building. Let's round them up and hold tight until the city's forces arrive. Seeing that his little pep talk was working, Chen Xiong barked out orders. These students, still green as grass, were so easy to control. Watching them scurry around, Chen Xiong knew he could use this to his advantage. Alright, people, in a crisis like this, we can't be selfish. Anything you find, turn it in, and we'll distribute it fairly, Chen Xiong announced. Controlling the supplies was key to keeping his position in the group. Whether things calmed down or not, he had to make sure he was safe, and as for the dangerous stuff, let the students handle that. Got it, Vice President Chen. Some of the guys headed downstairs to start scavenging for anything useful. Ding. Zombies cleared from the main building. Reward, 1 random Legion card. As Guan Li headed down, the system's voice popped into his head. Finally, the mission was done. He couldn't help but smile. Boss. Just as Guan Li was about to check out his reward, a voice stopped him. He looked over to the hallway. It was Wang Yu and his crew, waving like crazy. Oh, it's you guys. Guan Li grinned. These guys, even if they were a little weak, had the guts to take on zombies. That put them miles ahead of the panickers upstairs. Guan Li respected anyone with that kind of courage. Who knew? One of these 6 could end up being a real powerhouse. Yeah, we did what you said and took out a bunch of zombies. Wang Yu was waving a bloody fire axe. Where the hell did he get that? Nice. That's what I like to see. Guan Li nodded, giving them a compliment without holding back. Thanks, boss. Appreciate it. Wang Yu scratched his head, looking a little embarrassed. So, you guys didn't just track me down to chat, right? Guan Li asked, a little suspicious. Well, boss, we were hoping to trade you for some supplies. Wang Yu rubbed his hands together, looking hopeful. I see. What are you looking for? Guan Li realized what was up. You gotta eat, right? These crystal cores were cool, but they didn't exactly fill your stomach. Guan Li could get all kinds of stuff from the Points Mall. This might be a good deal for both of them. After trading for the alloy crossbow, Guan Li gave it a try. He found that as long as it was valuable, he could choose to trade it to the mall. For example, the old Tang Dao could be traded for 10 points. Boss, we really need some food. Wang Yu's face was all puppy dog eyes. His stomach was screaming. He hadn't noticed it at first, but after fighting those zombies, his hunger hit him like a ton of bricks. That little bit of bread he had for lunch was long gone. No problem. I got you covered. Guan Li opened his backpack, which was stuffed with grub, 5 packs of instant noodles, a dozen ham sausages, 5 slices of bread, and 4 bottles of water. He'd raided his dorm for all of it. Grumble. Wang Yu swallowed hard. So, how much for all this? 3 1-star crystal cores, and you can take the whole damn bag. No haggling. No returns. Guan Li held up 3 fingers, waving them in Wang Yu's face. All this food cost him about 10 points. A 1-star crystal core went for 5 to 10 points. The better the crystal, the better the price. With 3 crystal cores, Guan Li was practically printing money, and he knew Wang Yu would bite. Desperate times, desperate measures, right? But Guan Li also saw potential in these guys. He was making an investment. Deal. Wang Yu nodded, pulling out 3 1-star crystal cores. Smart move. I'm always fair with my prices. Guan Li grinned, tossing him the backpack and grabbing the crystal cores. Ding. Transaction complete. Receive 24 points. The system chimed in, confirming that Wang Yu's crystals were top-notch. Boss, we're starving too. Can we trade for some grub? The other 5 chimed in. They were a little weaker, so they only had 1 or 2 crystals to offer. You got it. Guan Li grabbed the crystals, then quickly stocked up on food from the points mall. He spent about 30 points, netting him 8 1-star crystal cores. He was careful not to give away too much, making sure he still came out ahead, ding. Transaction complete. Received 64 points, in just a few minutes. Guan Li had raked in a profit of 34 points, not a ton, but it was free money. Guan Li didn't have to lift a finger, just open the points mall. This is too easy, that he was making points while doing absolutely nothing. Chapter 16, Opening a card requires luck. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is a win-win. Wang Yu and the others were stoked after trading for supplies. Crystal nuclei are valuable, sure, but you can always get more by taking down zombies. Food's different. Unless someone's got a food card, you gotta scavenge, and food runs out. In the apocalypse, it's always gonna be scarce. People might survive without crystal nuclei, but without grub and water, they're toast. Wang Yu checked out the food in his pack, enough to last a few days if they rationed it. They were just focused on the food, totally ignoring the fact that Guan Li was pulling stuff out of thin air. It's the end of the world. Zombies are walking around, so who knows what's possible. Guan Li's a pro. He's probably got some personal pocket dimension, no biggie. Everyone knew better than to pry, so they kept their mouths shut. Wang Yu. You've got potential. Take this Tang sword, it's on the house. Guan Li pulled a spare Tang sword from his system inventory. Can't get much for it anyway, might as well do a solid. Wang Yu just stared at the sword, totally stunned. He didn't know what to say. Thanks, man. If we cross paths again, I'll pay you back, Wang Yu said, dead serious. The more Guan Li looked at Wang Yu, the more he liked him. He thought, this kid's got the right stuff. Alright. See ya around. Guan Li waved and disappeared down the hall. You, what's the plan? Point Four Eyes asked. Border Patrol ain't gonna cut it. We can't leave our lives up to them. You guys wanna roll with me? Wang Yu's inner leader was starting to show. We're in, they all said at once. Then let's go bash some zombie skulls. Level up. After seeing Guan Li's power, Wang Yu understood, in the apocalypse, might makes right. The old power structures are gone. The strong rule. That's the new world order. We're with you, everyone agreed. Let's hit the building next door. Start there. Wang Yu hefted his pack and took off. Guan Li headed back to the first floor, toward the Mantis's classroom. He'd told Bone he'd meet him here after they cleared the area. Running into Wang Yu slowed him down, but the skeletons should be here by now. He got to the classroom. Sure enough, the skeleton warriors were lined up at attention. Boss, the commander hurried over to greet Guan Li. Good job, Guan Li nodded his approval. No sweat. It's our pleasure to serve. Boss. We got some loot from cleaning up the zombies. Commander Bone took off his pack and presented it respectfully. Guan Li peeked inside. Jackpot. Packed with crystal nuclei, and a bunch of thin cards too. Guan Li scanned them with the system. 292 1-star nuclei, 6 2-star ones, 56 white random cards, 1 white-green, and 1 green. The skeletons must have tangled with some mutated zombies, Guan Li figured, with their strength. Only a tough freak like that human-faced mantis could really hurt them. Regular 2-star zombies were no big deal. The power of the Legion was becoming clear. Nobody else could grab this much loot so quick, even with teamwork. They'd have to split it. Guan Li didn't have that problem. His soldiers gave it their all. Guan Li figured he had 342 1-star nuclei, converted to points. That'd be a haul, but Guan Li wasn't in a rush to sell. He could trade materials for nuclei, and nuclei for other stuff, cards. He needed more cards. He stashed the 300+ nuclei in his pack. The system inventory was great, but only for rewards. It couldn't hold loose stuff like nuclei. Man, if only I had some kind of personal storage space, Guan Li thought. Carrying 300+ nuclei was like being a walking treasure chest. Guan Li grabbed the 6 2-star nuclei and started absorbing them. 1-star ones barely did anything anymore, but the 2-star ones still gave him a boost. Warm energy surged through him. Nice, Every cell in his body was firing. He threw a couple of punches, and the air whooshed. He was stronger, but still just a mid-level 2-star, he'd need a lot more nuclei to hit the next level. Boss. You're getting stronger, the commander said, impressed. Yeah, a little. Guan Li felt a little embarrassed. He turned to the cards. First up, the 56 white random cards. Time to rip them open. Food card X10, advanced card X4, supply card X6, restores energy, pistol universal ammo X10, crossbow bolts X15, for weak defenses, broken shovel X1, worthless, scrap car parts X10, useless scrap. Guan Li was getting all kinds of stuff. He checked out the junk parts and the shovel. He was speechless. The shovel was rusty and stained with some kind of dried red gunk. Scrap parts, 1 point. Scrapped shovel, worthless. Guan Li traded the parts. Transaction complete. 10 points. He threw the shovel in his inventory, useless, but he couldn't throw it away, he was just too thrifty. He was starting to see the cards were like a lottery. It was all luck. A white card could get you something awesome, or nothing. Guan Li had learned that the hard way. Chapter 17 Night Swordsman Legion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After cracking open the last of the white cards, Guan Li closed his eyes and reached for the 2 remaining ones. One was a mix of white and green, the other solid green. Without hesitation, he chose the mixed one. Zombie Trap X1, deploy to attract nearby zombies with a potent odor. Explodes 10 seconds after activation. Space Ring X1, contains 10 cubic meters of storage. Upgradable with special items. Guan Li's eyes lit up when he saw the second reward. Space item. Talk about perfect timing. He slipped the plain, black ring onto his thumb. It looked like it could be found at any pawn shop, but the etched designs were undoubtedly special. Ding! Space ring binding request detected. Bind to host. The system prompted. After a brief observation, Guan Li replied, bind. Ding! Binding successful. He felt a distinct connection to the ring. He grabbed a crystal core from his backpack and focused his thoughts. The core vanished. After a few more tries, all the cores were safely tucked away. He was already a pro at using the ring. One thought, and anything he wanted was at his fingertips. Yes. Guan Li was pumped. With the reward settled, he slowly pulled out the final card. It glowed gold. Mysterious door adorned the back, a question marked the front. Random clan card. Guan Li's breath hitched as he gazed at the card. He crushed the thin card. Ding! Congratulations! You've obtained the Night Swordsman Legion. The golden card revealed its image, a stern man in black, brandishing a long sword. Behind him stood countless shadowy figures. As Guan Li destroyed the card, a summoning circle appeared. 11 hazy figures materialized. We are yours to command, my lord. The leader kneeled before Guan Li. The rest of the Night Swordsmen followed suit. Rise! Guan Li rushed forward to help the leader. The swordsmen rose. They were clad in black, nearly invisible in the shadows. All were well built, around 6 feet tall, and good-looking. Each held a gleaming 3-foot blade. The leader matched the card's image, a calm face with piercing eyes, like a martial arts master straight out of a novel. Guan Li checked the Legion stats. Night Swordsman Legion, Advanced, Number, 10, Potential, 4 stars, Strength, 2 stars, Leader, Shen Lian, Skills, Shadow Stealth, Dark Night Swordplay, Dark Night Internal Energy, Night Shadow Footwork, Hidden Weapon Throwing. Shen Lian. Guan Li blinked. I am here. What are your orders? Shen Lian stepped forward, bowing. Nothing, just thought the name sounded familiar. He shook his head, recalling his old life. There was a historical figure with the same name. Understood. Shen Lian nodded and stepped back. Orders were orders. No questions asked. This is Bone. Get acquainted. We're all in this together now. Guan Li gestured to the skeleton warriors. Thanks to their shared legion status, a weak connection already existed, otherwise, Shen Lian might have attacked the skeletons on sight. Shen Lian. Bone, that the two leaders exchanged greetings, though brief. Guan Li knew they now saw each other as brothers in arms. Desire could lead to infighting, but not within the Legion. Their loyalty was absolute. Internal conflict was impossible. Great, Guan Li grinned, this system was the best. With his new Legion, he could extract more skills. He hesitated, then made his choice. System. Extract Dark Knight internal energy. Ding. Extracting Dark Knight internal energy, Guan Li felt a surge of mysterious power flowing through him. It merged with his existing energy, making it purer and stronger. So, this is Dark Knight internal energy. That he punched the human-faced mantis corpse. A black aura surrounded his fist. Thump, star, the fist pierced right through. Awesome, Guan Li celebrated. He channeled the energy into his blade, unleashing a wave of black energy. It was as powerful as his strongest strike, and the most important thing was that the strength of Anye's internal power depended on one's own strength. The stronger one's own strength is, the greater the effect of Dark Knight internal force will be. Mastering Dark Knight internal energy had given him a massive boost. With 2 legions at his command, it was time to leave the university. The campus was running dry. If he wanted to grow stronger, he needed more zombies. The university couldn't satisfy him anymore. Guan Li wanted a challenge. Alright, everyone. Ready to kick some ass. That he addressed his troops like a general. Only 20-odd soldiers, but he'd make it count. Awaiting your command, master, my lord. Gu and Shen Lian replied in unison. Target, the playground outside the main building. Let's roll. Guan Li charged out of the classroom. Through the glass doors, he saw the playground swarming with zombies, thousands of them, including plenty of mutated ones. They'd had their fill of flesh and blood. Their evolution was accelerating. Guan Li scanned the area, relieved. No sign of the natural disaster monster. If those zombies, plus a mantis or something showed up, he'd have to retreat. He glanced at his eager legion. The final battle to escape the university was about to begin. Chapter 18. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dude, you gonna ice these guys? Shen Lian's eyes narrowed, showing a hardcore look. Facing down thousands of zombies, he wasn't even sweating it. Chill, I got a little something for him first. Shen Lian, think you can sneak this thing into the middle of that zombie huddle? Guan Li pulled a card out of his system backpack. Zombie trap, just got it, perfect timing. No sweat. Shen Lian grabbed the card. His body started to fade, turning into a shadow that melted into the ground. Sick. Guan Li murmured. Shen Lian's shadow zipped through the zombies, their brainpower being what it was. They didn't even notice, just a shadow sliding under their feet. Shen Lian hit the center of the zombie crowd in no time. The shadow peeled off the ground, turning back into him. The zombies turned his way instantly. Shen Lian didn't flinch, and crushed the card in his hand. A metal box covered in flesh and blood popped into existence. The zombies went nuts, totally losing it. They surged forward, ignoring everything but Shen Lian's position. Seeing the riot, Shen Lian dropped the box and dove back underground. The smell pouring off that box had the zombies hypnotized. Even the mutated ones couldn't resist checking it out. 5 huge bruisers and a dozen of those bloated, corrosive guys, plus some new mutations Guan Li hadn't even seen before. The area around the zombie trap became a mob scene. They stared, eyes bugging out, trying to figure out why that box was so irresistible. Boss, Shen Lian was back at Guan Li's side. Get ready for the fireworks. Guan Li grinned, pointing to the horde. One of the bruisers picked up the box, all curious, holding it, turning it over. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Guan counted down in his head. The metal box in the bruiser's hand flashed blindingly. Rumble. The explosion echoed across the university. Even the nearby buildings shook. Every survivor in the area was drawn to the blast. City defense. It's gotta be city defense, right? Most people went wild. After all, in China, with its tight grip on guns, that kind of firepower had to belong to city defense. They peeked out of windows at the playground. Waves of scorching fire rolled across a huge mass of zombies. The ones closest to the explosion were blown to smithereens. Even the ones further away were knocked flat by the shockwave. Yes. Nail those freaks, everyone cheered, but they sobered up real quick, because there were no city defense troops anywhere on the playground, meaning that explosion was something else entirely. No way. What kind of pyrotechnics are we talking here? Students killing zombies in the building stopped to gawk out the windows, thousands of zombies covered the playground, no one dared mess with that, it was like walking into a slaughterhouse. Bro Tian. What's going on? A sketchy-looking guy stared at the scene, a chill seemed to radiate from his hand. Guan Li. One of Fate's chosen ones, got an Ice Mage class change scroll in the initial lottery. Some nobody looking for a dirt nap. Let M put on a show. Huang Lintian sneered, he doubted anyone at Z University was tougher than him. After becoming an Ice Mage, Huang Lintian jumped up to 2 stars, his specialty wasn't close combat, it was spellcasting, one ice blast could wipe out a dozen zombies. After absorbing a bunch of crystal nuclei, his powers shot through the roof, he'd run into a few other survivors who got initial rewards, lucky, but unlucky to cross paths with Huang Lintian, he stomped them all, taking their supplies for himself. As for the consequences of murder, Huang Lintian didn't sweat it, it was clear to him, strength rules in the apocalypse. As the shockwave died down, Guan Li heard a string of system notifications: killed Bruiser, gained 50 points, killed Bruiser, gained 45 points, killed Bruiser, gained 65 points, 0.5 in a row, all about bruisers, since the zombie trap was his handiwork. The kill credit went to him, the point variance was probably due to slight differences in their strength. 5 bruisers gave him 267 points, the zombies were scattered, now was the time to move. Guan Li eyed the mess, knowing they wouldn't regroup anytime soon. Let's go, eyes flashing, he charged out with the Qingfeng blade. Shen Lian and Gu led the legionnaires right behind him, the head of a zombie that was just getting up burst open, black blood splattered, soaking Guan Li's clothes. He didn't give a damn, slashing at any zombie that dared to stand. The explosion was strong, but only near the center. Zombies further out were just knocked down, not seriously hurt. Guan Li figured the explosion killed a few hundred zombies, leaving around 1 or 2,000 still on the playground, but luckily, they weren't that strong, mostly 1 star. A badass. A total badass, Wang Yu in the building yelled. For real. He's a beast. Charging into those zombies like that, several people agreed. Holy crap. It's Guan Li. Talk about guts, the students on the top floor gawked. Guts? More like suicide, Zhao Hai scoffed, he was sure Guan Li wouldn't make it out alive. Are there really tough guys like that here? Maybe I can buddy up with him sometime. Students who wanted to take action were drawn to the chaos. Guan Li was now the most popular guy at Z University. Huh. Skeletons. Guess this guy's luck isn't bad. Too bad he's small potatoes compared to me. Huang Lintian sneered, radiating disdain. Skeleton soldiers. Bottom of the barrel troops. His sidekick quickly agreed, they knew about online games, skeleton soldiers were cannon fodder. As for the shadow swordsman, Huang Lintian brushed him off as just another classmate. Everyone, let's head downstairs. Dozens of students surrounded Huang Lintian, they were all decent fighters, awakened humans who had absorbed crystal nuclei. Yes, bro Tian, no questions, they knew the drill. Huang Tian took one last look at the playground, this was an opportunity to strike, and become the big fish. Chapter 19. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the playground, Guan Li was a whirlwind, dodging and weaving through the zombie horde, each movement left a zombie collapsing. He smoothly pocketed the cards that dropped, then moved on to the next target. Many zombies barely managed to shake themselves upright, only to be met with the sharp bite of a long blade. The skeleton warriors, clad in bone armor, hacked relentlessly with their bone knives, their defenses impenetrable to the zombies. Each warrior could easily hold their own against a dozen zombies at once. You freaks. Uglier than even me. Time to kick the bucket. Guluan's shield slammed into a zombie, crushing it instantly. He strode forward, effortlessly decapitating the rest. Thanks to their unique structure, the skeleton warriors could put every ounce of strength into each blow. Simply put, they fought like they had nothing to lose. Shen Lian, not to be outdone by the valiant skeletons, swung his long sword, unleashing the Dark Knight sword technique. Blades of energy flew, felling zombie after zombie. 10 Dark Knight swordsmen followed his lead, their own Dark Knight sword technique sending black energy slicing through the zombie ranks. One wave of attacks felled nearly 100 zombies. Awesome! Guan Li couldn't help but shout. After the sword energy subsided, the Knight swordsman engaged the zombies in close combat. Channeling inner energy into sword energy was draining, and they needed time to recover. Even without that boost, the 2-star Knight swordsman could still easily dispatch the zombies. Whoosh, star, Guan Li, mid-kill, heard something slicing through the air behind him. Something was coming for him. He threw up a shadow spell, dodging the projectile just in time. Turning, he saw a grotesque pink tongue, over 30 feet long. Its surface was covered in razor-sharp barbs. Humph! You dare attack me? Guan Li scoffed and slashed with his Qingfeng saber without hesitation. Thwack! The tongue's defenses were weak. It was sliced clean off. The severed section splashed blood as it hit the ground. Master! My lord! Seeing Guan Li under attack, Guluan and Shen Lian started to rush to his aid. I'm fine. You guys keep clearing out the zombies, Guan Li barked. Understood. Guluan and Shen Lian nodded, resuming the zombie cleanup. Guan Li turned to face his attacker. It was a mutated zombie, its form horribly twisted, crawling on the ground, retracting its severed tongue. Its skin seemed to be peeling away, revealing raw flesh and blood. Veins of all sizes pulsed grotesquely in the air. Its arms had mutated into reptile-like limbs, claws, sharp enough to pierce concrete. Scraped against the ground, a twitching nose sought its target. Its mouth was split open, practically to its ears, revealing rows of jagged teeth. Its eyes were gone, replaced by a constantly wriggling brain, barely contained by a thin membrane. This thing had completely abandoned any semblance of humanity. Name, liquor, strength, 2 stars, abilities, tongue lash, rapid movement, assessment, mutated into a bestial form, abandoning its humanity. Be wary of its tongue, it's extremely fast and flexible. Guan Li read the system's assessment. Oh. A liquor, huh? He remembered the Resident Evil series from his past life. This mutated zombie was definitely giving off liquor vibes. Guan Li didn't hesitate. While the swift shadow technique was still in effect, he launched his attack. In a flash, he was on the liquor. His Qingfeng saber flashed. The liquor reacted quickly, raising its forelimbs to defend. Clang. Star. Sparks flew as the Qingfeng saber struck the liquor's claws. Though it had blocked the blow, the liquor wasn't as strong as Guan Li. Its hind legs scrabbled against the ground as it was pushed back. Full power. Guan Li activated his skill. He raised the Qingfeng saber and slashed again. 2 intersecting blades of air crashed into the liquor's claws. Crack! The liquor's claws shattered. It went flying backwards, slamming into the ground. Guan Li was about to press his advantage, but the liquor recovered quickly. Whoosh, star. The barbed tongue shot out, aimed straight for his head. Again, he activated his bone armor. A simple white armor formed around him. Guan Li reached out and grabbed the attacking tongue. Scratch, star. The barbs raked against the bone armor, sending sparks flying. The liquor's attack couldn't penetrate the defense. Come here. Guan Li yanked hard on the tongue. The force pulled the liquor towards him. Say hi to the liquor, say bye to the liquor. The Qingfeng saber pierced the liquor's exposed brain. Its head, barely covered by a thin membrane, exploded in a spray of brain matter. Liquor eliminated. 75 points awarded. A green card dropped from the liquor's corpse. Guan Li pocketed it smoothly. Then, he rummaged through the liquor's head until he pulled out a crystal core the size of a pigeon's egg. Satisfied, he tossed the liquor's body aside. It was worthless now. Guan Li surveyed the playground. The corpses were being handled by his legion, with over 1,000 soldiers swarming the horde of zombies. It was only a matter of time before they were wiped out. His gaze fell on the remaining mutated zombies. Time for some more fun. Guan Li grinned, his eyes landing on a corruptor. The corruptor seemed confused. What was with this guy's weird expression? Not understanding, it didn't bother thinking about it. Its throat bulged, and it spat out a ball of corrosive liquid. Whoosh, star. Guan Li was ready. He sidestepped, dodging the spray, one strike of his blade, and the corruptor dropped, corruptor eliminated. 50 points awarded. The corruptor didn't drop a card or have a crystal core. Hey! You're weak compared to that liquor. You're the scum of the zombies. Guan Li wrinkled his nose. Corruptor, go to hell. He went off in search of his next target. One by one, the mutated zombies on the playground fell. What is he doing? That's terrifying. Is he even human? Dude is ripped. Bet he's got thighs of steel. That the students on the top floor watched in astonishment. Pfft. Big deal. Zhao Hai remained stubborn. He hadn't gone out to search for supplies, choosing instead to stay in the performance room. If you're so tough, go on down. Yeah. All you do is talk smack. That the girl's retorts made Zhao Hai's face flush. He wasn't used to being talked to like this. You guys. You used to be all over me, and now you're turning on me. Zhao Hai was furious. You, wah. Several girls turned and ran. Zhao Hai clenched his fists, his heart filled with resentment. He needed power. Chapter 20 Attacked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The number of zombies on the playground was dwindling. Guan Li glanced at the darkening sky and unleashed a furious barrage of attacks, hacking and slashing at the remaining zombies. He had to finish this fight before nightfall. Inside the nearby teaching building, Huang Lintian was hatching a plan. He'd conveniently skipped the whole zombie-slaying process. Hey, Tian. What's the play this time? One of his guys asked, looking eager. They were clearly adapting to the apocalypse fast. Let those chumps slug it out with the undead. Huang Lintian said. When they're all used up, we'll swoop in and clean up. Huang Lintian's plan was simple. Let someone else do the dirty work. Basically, he was gonna grab the spoils. He already had his eyes on the zombie corpses littering the playground. Even if Guan Li didn't wipe them all out, he'd find a way to pick off the stragglers. Killing zombies meant cards and crystal cores. That was the fuel he needed to level up. Huang Lintian was no dummy. He knew the newly zombified weren't that tough. This was his chance to get strong quick and rule this Z world. He already had his future mapped out, starting with Z University. He'd expand his turf. Eventually, he'd build his own fortress city in this end-of-days nightmare. So, someone was softening up the target for him. Huang Lintian was all for it. Those dudes look pretty strong, though. A kid with glasses piped up. What if they actually clear out all the zombies? That he was Lin Ong, another lucky survivor. He'd scored the Psychic Master job class change scroll in the initial lottery. A Psychic Master could move objects with their mind. Huang Lintian eyed him warily. Lin Ong, the Psychic Master. The guy was a serious threat to his authority. As second-in-command, Lin Ong had a solid following. If Huang Lintian wasn't a little stronger, he'd probably be out of a job. What's to be scared of? Huang Lintian scoffed. Even if those guys outside wipe out the zombies, they'll be running on fumes. We're the A-team. We'll mop the floor with them. That he was confident in his strength. Okay, but how do we split the loot? Lin Ong pressed. I get 60%, you get 40, Huang Lintian snapped. Lin Ong was getting ambitious, trying to negotiate, but he couldn't afford a falling out just yet. They had 89 people in their crew, 50 were loyal to him, but the other 39 were in Lin Ong's corner. Deal, Lin Ong said, not pushing it. He'd gotten what he wanted. Huang Lintian was a powder keg. Push him too far, and things could blow up. That wouldn't help anyone. While Huang Lintian and his crew plotted, Guan Li was finishing off the last zombie. The sun stubbornly cast one last ray of light. Clean up the battlefield. Guan Li barked. His soldiers moved like a well-oiled machine. At this rate, they'd be stuck at Z University tonight. Guan Li knew the night in the apocalypse was dangerous, definitely less safe than daytime. No point in taking the risk. Staying put at Z University for the night was the smart move. The Legion had a clear system. Night swords collected the cards, and skeleton soldiers gathered the crystal cores. Brother Tian. The fight outside looks over. Those guys are pretty hardcore. They cleaned up all the zombies on the playground. Now they're gathering the loot. A lackey came running in. Huh. They actually did it. Guess those guys are tougher than they look. Huang Lintian and Lin Ong were surprised, but the plan was still on, the guys outside would be exhausted from the fight. Get ready. Guan Li commanded. Yes, sir. Everyone grabbed their weapons, ready to pounce. On the playground, Guan Li picked up a crystal core and wiped it clean. Killing zombies gets you this. Just as he slipped the crystal core into his ring, a sense of danger washed over him. Without thinking, Guan Li dove out of the way. Thwack! An arrow made of ice crystals slammed into the spot where he'd been standing. Someone was attacking. Guan Li's face turned grim. He'd suspected this might happen. Now, anger flared. Someone was trying to gank him. Fine. Two can play at this game. Enemy attack. Protect the commander. Bone reacted instantly. He raised his massive shield, shielding Guan Li. The other skeleton warriors dropped everything and scanned their surroundings. There, Guan Li pointed at the teaching building. That's where the ice arrow had come from. Damn! He dodged it. Guan Li cursed, seeing that they'd been spotted. He stopped hiding. If the sneak attack failed, go head to head. Guan Li watched as dozens of students poured out of the teaching building. Their faces were hard, their clothes stained with blood. These guys had killed people. Guan Li narrowed his eyes. Things just got interesting. They might have the numbers, but he wasn't worried. Most of them were 1-star students. Only a dozen or so had reached 2-star. His crew was all 2-star. Kid! Lucky shot! Guan Li called out. You dodged my ice crystal arrow. Okay, Guan Li said, stepping out from behind Bone's shield with a warm smile, but beneath that smile was pure murder. He might let Wang Yu get away. Wang Yu had tried to rob him, but he hadn't actually tried to hurt him. But these guys had crossed the line. They had to die. Kid! Just give up. Maybe I'll make it quick. Guan Li sneered. Heh. You try, tough guy. You got the stones. Guan Li shot back, raising his middle finger. You're asking for it. Guan Li's face turned red. Brothers. Charge. Whoever takes this kid down gets a bigger cut. Guan Li stopped jawing and waved his men forward. Kill. The students charged Guan Li, weapons raised. Kill them all. Leave none alive. Guan Li ordered, his eyes cold. Understood. Gu and Shen Lian grinned. They'd been killing zombies, but they hadn't gotten to kill any people yet.